Hello. My name is
Possible in part contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you.
There you go. Wow. Who else are here? Ansel. Good morning, Ansel. Deepa, Jaden, Liana. We haven't seen you.
Morning.
Morning. What time did you all wake up? Kevin, how are you? Pintar banget. What time did you all wake up? Kevin, where's your video?
I wake up in 7, I think.
How come we cannot see your face? I'm on another computer. Wow, Ansel woke up at 6 o'clock. Say hello. So where's everybody coming? Hi, Liana.
Hi.
What time is it where you are now?
It's 4 o'clock at the moment.
4 o'clock. Okay. Zara, are you ready? Where's Zara? Hi, Kevin. Did you like the documentary? What did you think of the documentary? Yes, today is NYEPI, but I'm at the hotel and we have Wi-Fi, but actually they didn't turn off the Wi-Fi. So actually it's okay. Adriana, did you like the documentary?
Yes.
Yes? Do you want to see Hi, Zara. I've been to Russia to see the astronauts. Do you want to go someday? Meet the astronauts, see the rocket launch? Where's Sophie? Hi, Sophie. There you go. Sophie's here. Good morning. Good evening for you. So we were just playing the Scott Kelly's documentary, A Year in Space, to show everybody how it was. I don't know. I hope everybody enjoyed it. It's quite a serious documentary, but quite a, give a bit of a background. So it's 10 o'clock now. So Zara and Sophie, what are you gonna go over today? We have Titan, Adriana again, Ansel, there's Kevin, Liana, and hopefully more people will be joining, but go ahead. It's all yours now.
Yeah, would you like me to share the presentation?
Sure.
Okay.
And everyone else, if you're not talking, can you please mute the mic so that Sophie and Zara can talk now first?
Okay.
And if you want to ask something, then raise your hand and then you can turn on the microphone. Okay, enjoy.
Hey everyone, today we're going to be talking to you guys pretty much all about what we've talked about these past 2 days. We talked about how engineering can be a way to become an aspiring astronaut, how the medical field can be a way to become an aspiring astronaut. So today we're pretty much going to take the best of both worlds and just give you an aspiring astronaut starter pack.
All right, everyone. So over the past couple of days, Sophie talked about engineering and I've been talking about science and medicine, However, there's a commonality between all of these fields that before you pursue these things, there are some main requirements that you have to fulfill to apply to become a NASA astronaut. So some of the main requirements are to, number one, be a US citizen. Now, these requirements can vary if you're applying to NASA or if you decide to apply, maybe in the next 10 years, there might be an Indonesian space agency and you have to be an Indonesian citizen, or you're applying to another, the Russian space agency or the European space agency. So most of these agencies require you to be a citizen of that country. Next, the main thing that we've been talking about these past couple of days is that you have to possess a master's degree in any STEM field. So Sophie was talking a little bit about engineering and all those degrees that you can get. And I was talking about, the degrees you can get in space medicine and astronomy, astronautics, and cosmology, astrobiology, and all of those different topics that really just depend on your passion and what you find interesting. Next, you have to have at least 2 years of related professional experience after getting your master's degree. Or if you decide to become a test pilot and go into the Army, you need to have at least 1,000 hours of pilot and command time on a jet aircraft. So that's a little more technical once you start looking at it. And next, you have to be healthy enough to pass the NASA long duration flight astronaut physical exam. Now, these are the main requirements. However, at this age, there are so many things that you can do to boost your experience, to boost your resume, and to make you stand out as an applicant trying to be an astronaut. And in the next couple of slides, Sophie and I are going to be talking about all of those amazing activities that you can be engaging in right now at this age, in school, beyond school, through different training programs and different experiences.
And I'm just going to add really quickly to that first point, being a US citizen, just because it's a no now doesn't mean no is the final answer. And we're really lucky to have in our generation a lot of private space companies too, like SpaceX, Blue Origin, Virgin Galactic, and they're all hiring astronauts too. So just because you can't be a NASA astronaut doesn't mean you can't be an astronaut, period. And Zahra had a great point. Maybe in the next couple of years, Indonesia will have a space company too. So as we talked about, as Zahra said, we're going to be talking about how we're preparing ourselves to become astronauts and how we're aspiring astronauts. So as they said, you need to have some piloting hours and have some flight experience. So I have always been obsessed with the sky since I was little. And so when I was of age, I started getting piloting lessons. And as you can see on the left, that's me getting ready to land the plane. To the right, I took a picture before we took off. And so I've been working on that to hopefully get my private pilot's license. And that's just been a huge dream of mine. And maybe one day I'll have 1,000 hours and that can be something I can add to my astronaut resume. And so these are just a few more pictures of the plane that I was in. I actually piloted a Cessna 152, and it's not a very big plane. It's not one of those big commercial planes, but it's definitely tiny. And on the bottom left, you can see where we took off for the first time. And piloting has just been a really big passion of mine. So I'm really glad that that's in line with my dreams.
And here's a little bit of some pictures of my experience with piloting. I'm a young eagle and a student pilot currently training to get my private pilot's license like Sophie through online pilot ground school. And so these are some pictures of the first time I went and co-piloted a plane. And I'm sitting here next to my pilot. His name was James. And we're flying on the Air Coupe aircraft that was used in World War II. So it's about like 81 years old, probably 82 years old now. And it was still functioning perfectly. So that was an amazing experience.
I think I can speak for both Zahra and I when I say when you're piloting a plane, especially if you're a girl, your hair goes everywhere.
100%.
Yeah. And so I loved being in the sky so much. I loved feeling like a superhero, like a bird. And so this past month, I actually tried piloting a helicopter, and that was my pilot mentor to the right on the right picture. And I can definitely say that I enjoyed piloting the plane way more. Being in a helicopter is like riding a roller coaster if you've ever been on one. It's a really rough flight, but the reason why I wanted to try getting on a helicopter is because two of my astronaut mentors that I've actually met before and worked with encouraged me to try piloting a helicopter because astronaut Alvin Drew was a test pilot, and that's how NASA recruited him. And he was in the US Army, just like astronaut Greg Johnson. And the thing that they had in common is they were both helicopter pilots. So that was a fun experience.
So another amazing experience that also boosts your resume as an aspiring astronaut is doing scuba diving. So what's so special about being underwater is that you're weightless, and in space, you're also weightless. So actually NASA, to prepare their astronauts for that experience in weightlessness once they're in space, they have a huge pool located in Houston, Texas called the Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory. And over there, astronauts get to wear those real spacesuits, the ones that look just like this, you guys can see. And they go underwater for like 5, 6, 7 hours at a time, and they start performing simulated missions underwater in that pool. They have like a huge mock-up of the International Space Station underwater, and they get to practice performing simple functions like repairing wires and carrying those tools that, those are going to be really rare experiences that they can collect to prepare themselves for once they're actually doing the real spacewalks in space. So some of the training that I've been doing has been underwater, and I have a great privilege of living in Miami, Florida, and it's really, world renowned for its beaches and for its underwater ecosystem. So I've been doing a lot of training in that recently, and I'm a certified advanced open water scuba diver with the Professional Association of Diver Instructors. And so within the past 2 years, I've been doing a lot of training and racking up some hours and experience that I will get to add on my resume. And I'm currently training to become the rescue diver and then become a master scuba diver with PADI. So that's a little bit of an amazing experience that I have been having these past 2 years. And in the second slide, these are just some selfies and some pictures I've been taking, just goofing off underwater. And what's so cool about my experience with scuba diving is that every time I go on the boat, every time I register myself for a session or a class, I'm always the youngest person. When I first started off, I was 13 years old. And in my first class for that first license, I was 13 and the other people were 25, 30, 35 years old. So it's a really, special experience to be able to go underwater, go up to 100 feet underwater and explore the underwater marine ecosystem as a young person. And it's a really growing experience, and it really helps, grow my mind and just open my world to a new perspective.
That is amazing. Oh,
thank you. Yeah, and that's another
what
picture
is
of me
the coolest
underwater.
thing you think you've created?
Evan, did you
Wow.
want to ask
What's one of like the coolest things?
your hand? Hang
See
on,
my
you have your hand raised. Never mind, carry on.
So on the left, there's a little
What's-
picture of me goofing off underwater. So I'm doing some flips. That's something really special that we can do. And then on the right, this is a picture of me getting ready for my advanced license. That's the training that I've been doing in Key Largo. And this is at the Jules Underwater Sea Lounge, which they do a lot of underwater analog missions over there too. So that was a really awesome experience.
Okay, so another big thing that I'm doing, and I've been doing it for quite a while now, is robotics. How many of you are like really interested in robots? You've seen them on TV. or anything like that. Or like battle bots. That was something I was really big on when I was growing up. But that love for battle bots, all of those things actually happened. And when I was in high school, I joined my robotics club. And so what you can see on the left and on the right are two different prototypes of our competition robot, which you can see in the middle. I was actually driving for my team. And so that has been something that has really challenged my engineering mindset, which we talked about, ask, plan, improve, create. And so that has been something I've been keeping up with. And I always love getting my hands on the parts, putting them together, even if it doesn't work the first time. And I think Zara can add on to that too.
Yeah, so I've also had some experience in robotics. So since the 6th grade, I've been on my Lego robotics team, and we've done a lot of different competitions with First Lego League. And we actually, in this picture here, you could see me and my team, and we won the best design for our robot. And I remember being so excited because that was my first experience in robotics. And although I'm going into the science route and in the medical route, I think combining medicine and tech is so amazing, and that's really something I'd like to do in the future. And if you guys joined my session yesterday, some of you guys, I recognize your names. I talked a little bit about my research that involves tech and robotics and 3D printing also with medicine. So that's an awesome experience that I've been getting. And I think Sophie and I were just, it's such an amazing experience to be a girl in STEM, and specifically to be participating in tech and robotics, and it's just an incredible experience.
Definitely. And it's great. I see like there's a couple of other girls on your robotics team, which is so cool. We definitely need more girls in like the STEM industry and in the space industry, because as of right now, I'm still the only girl on my robotics team. Okay, so accidentally skipped a slide. I don't know how to go back, but let's see. I think I can click on this. There we go. So as we said, to be an astronaut, you need to be not only mentally fit, but also physically fit. And so I do a variety of things to stay in shape. I'm not scuba certified like Zara, but I do love to go swimming. And so this past summer when I went to the Philippines, I actually got to go swimming with whale sharks, and that was super cool. They're really huge. You can see one behind me in the picture. And another thing that I haven't been able to do too much due to COVID, but I really is rock climbing. And I don't know if you're getting you're seeing the pattern here, but I like getting in really high places, even though I'm not sure I can get back down. So that's something I've really enjoyed.
That's so cool, Sophie, swimming with the whale sharks. That's amazing. And another thing that's, really important as an aspiring astronaut and just as a young person is to find certain passions that you really like and to really go for them and to really put a lot of effort in them. And for me, and Sophie too, I think she's gonna share a little bit more about that. But for me, it's really martial arts. And since the age of 4, so for 11 years now, I've been doing martial arts and karate. And it's a really, it's such an amazing sport, and it teaches me so many different, disciplines, that mental strength. So Sophie was talking about that physical strength that you need to have, and martial arts really gives that mental strength and all of the mental skills like discipline, respect, cooperation with your other teammates. And these are all really important skills that you need as an astronaut. So when I first joined karate, I wasn't thinking about, oh, karate is going to be good for becoming an astronaut. It was just a passion of mine. But as I grew older, I started realizing yeah, I'm really growing these skills that are really important. And now I'm going to be able to use that when I'm an astronaut, hopefully. And these are some pictures of me. On the right, that's a picture of when I first started karate. I was 4 years old.
How old are you? Yeah, it's so cute.
Thank you. And then on the left side, that's a picture of me with my team. And we had gone to Gainesville, Florida for a competition. And We got gold in kata and gold in kumite. So that was an amazing experience.
Okay, my pictures are a lot worse quality, but I also do karate, and I completely agree with Zara that it not only gives you that physical training, but it also gives you that mental training, because karate can be really tough sometimes. To the left, that was my brown belt test, and there were a lot of times I thought, or a lot of points within the test, it's like, I don't know if I can make it through this. So it's definitely been great at that. And you can see at the top right, I'm breaking a board. That was a jump flying side kick. And I also practice with kamas, which are those weapons. And so that has been really great to train me not only physically, but also mentally. And these are just a few more things I do. There's another picture of me rock climbing. I also love to do these obstacle courses. Whenever we go to OBX, there's this huge 10-foot tall obstacle course, and I always challenge myself to make it to the top. And to the left, I'm also an avid fencer, and fencing is like with the swords, and the reason I really got into it is because I was a huge Star Wars fan when I was little. I don't know if you guys have seen Star Wars, but that's really the reason why I started fencing. I wanted to be like the Jedis. And so fencing, just like karate, is really great for training me mentally. In fact, they call it physical chess because you have to move, you have to block, parry, all of these things while also attacking and blocking. And you have to think at 20 different things at once and moving back and forth. So that's also a great way that I've been preparing to be an aspiring astronaut.
Yeah, so like Sophie, I also try to really engage in many sports. So like she likes to do rock climbing, which is really amazing. I hope to do that one day. That's such a cool thing, Sophie. And so what I do also is volleyball. So I'm on my high school's junior varsity volleyball team, and I also play club volleyball. And what's so cool about volleyball is that you're part of a team, and every single person on a team plays a vital role, and everyone depends on you. And that's such a great skill that you get to learn, that, you know, learning teamwork, cooperation, being honest with each other and respecting each other both on and off the court. And these are some great experiences that you get that really build up your experience, that really build up your mental skills. Again, using teamwork. When you're an astronaut and you're going to space, you're going to be part of a crew, usually, 3 to 6 people. And you really need to learn how to work with each other, because you're going to be living together for at least 6 months, usually now on the International Space Station. And just learning to have teamwork is really amazing. Yeah, so these are some pictures of the teams that I'm on. So the one on the left is my high school team, and the one on the right is my club team. And another thing that I really wanted to talk about with volleyball is that for those of you who are in volleyball, I'm sure you know that it's a really hostile environment. Usually you have to deal with players that are kind of rude to you. They underestimate your skills, especially with me on the high school team. I'm the youngest one. I'm the only freshman. So there's a lot of people that undermine your abilities, that talk down to you, and a really great experience overall. However, there's so many challenges to being on a team, in any team, on a soccer team, on a volleyball team, swimming team. So, I really learned how to be adverse, and I really learned adversity and to continue striving and to continue persevering. And over time, people start to respect you, and they start to realize that, wow, she's actually really dedicated and she's doing her best, and they start respecting you. And this is something that, you don't only learn on sports teams, but also in the workforce. When you guys are older and you start getting jobs, you're really going to have to work hard and to persevere, because there's always going to be people that are going to undermine you, who are going to tell you that you can't achieve this, that are going to disrespect you. And it's your job to continue working hard to achieve greatness.
Okay, so now on to the fun part, and probably my favorite, Space Camp or Space Academy. So this was a really great experience I got to have, and I was so fortunate to have. And so this was my first time going to Space Camp. To the left, you can see we're all wearing our blue flight suits, which I think Zara has on today. And that was getting ready for the 1/6 gravity chair, which I talked a little bit about during my presentation, where they simulate the gravity of the moon and you get to jump up and down, you go pretty high. To the right, those were just a couple of the friends that I made along the way. And it's really great to have these like-minded teens. We all love space, and I really felt at home. I found my tribe, as I would call it. At the bottom right, I'm pretty sure that's a Mercury capsule. It's only supposed to fit like 1 or 2 people. I think they had chairs in, but we managed to fit 3 of us in there. And right next to that, we were walking back from a field. They had us test out these rocket ships that they had us make out of these cardboard tubes, and they launched them up and they came back down with a parachute. So that was super fun. And to the left, probably one of the most memorable things I did at Space Camp. It's the MAT, or the multi-axis trainer, or as my team and I called it, the vomit comet. And the reason why we called it that, it spins you all around in all directions, upside down, side to side. I mean, you can see in the pictures, and I know Zara has a couple of pictures too. And even though we call it the vomit comet, you don't really feel like you need to vomit. It actually holds your stomach in one position. So even though you're spinning in all directions, you don't actually feel sick. It's holding your stomach in the same position. And while you're spinning in all of these different directions, they'll ask you a bunch of different questions, like, what's your favorite food? What's your favorite color? How many fingers am I holding up? And so it was super fun, but you have to keep your mindset in the right area, because it's to simulate what it's like for astronauts when they're coming back into our atmosphere and there's all of that turbulence. They're going side to side, they could roll over. So that was a really fun experience. And then my last little flying experience, going up high to the right, I tried hang gliding, which was one of the first forms of flying that humans ever invented. And so basically what it is, it's way different than flying a plane or flying a helicopter. You use your arms as the control, and they'll tell you to flare or go side to side. You don't go as high, but it was definitely a really fun experience. It's almost like a spacewalk.
So yeah, like Sophie, I also went to space camp, and it's an absolutely amazing experience. And at space camp, we get to meet so many amazing people. So we get to meet people in the space industry, aerospace engineers, and people that worked on the space missions, on the Apollo missions, which was so cool. And we also get to meet astronauts, and we get to ask them some questions about their career and about how they started off young. And you really get an insight on what they were thinking when they were younger, when they were our age and they wanted to be astronauts, and what they did to achieve that dream. So these are some pictures of me at space camp. So on the left, there's a picture of me standing next to the Habitat 1, which is where all the campers stay. And it's actually really cool. It's a really small space, each dorm. And you live with usually 6 crewmates, just like on the International Space Station. I believe there's 6 people at a time. And you really get a feel of what it's like living together in a really closed space. And then in the middle, it's a picture of me in the middle of my simulated space mission. And we get to do a lot of those at space camp. So we get to do one on the space shuttle and another one, and I think 2 of them on the space shuttle mission. And it's a really amazing experience because we get to take up different leadership positions. We have people inside the cockpit, like the pilot, the mission specialist, and then we have people in the mission control. And today, on that day, I was the ecom, and then there's other people, the capcom, there's the paycom, and all of those, amazing roles. And we really get an experience of what it's like to participate in those space missions.
Yeah, that's so cool that you were ecom. When I was in mission control during our mission, I was the GNC. So that was super fun.
Oh, the GNC, that's cool. Yeah, and these are some pictures. That's also another picture of me on the MIT and the MAT, like Sophie was talking about. And yeah, when I was on the MAT, I wasn't really dizzy either. And I know someone wrote in the comments that I think it makes it dizzy. But like Sophie said, your stomach is the center of gravity, and they only spin in one direction 2 to 3 times. And after that, they switch into another direction. So you don't really feel dizzy. However, like Sophie said, they do ask you some questions while you're on the MAT, and you kind of get distracted while you're spinning all over normally. So it's a really cool experience. And actually, astronauts back in the Apollo programs, I know they were actually NASA actually used the MAT for astronauts, and that's what they trained in. And if you guys saw the movie First Man, you get to see Neil Armstrong going on the MAT. And the MAT back then was a little bit different. They didn't control it as much as they do here in space camp. So, you know, Neil Armstrong in the movie, he was vomiting all over the place because it was a really weird situation that he'd never been in before. And then that's a picture of me next to one of the planes at space camp. And that was really cool to see all of those models. And there's another model of a huge model of the Pathfinder. And I know, Sophie, I'm sure you remember the Pathfinder. It was right next to the Davidson Center with the museum. And it was really cool to get to see all of these rockets, all of the models of the rockets and the models of the planets everywhere. And it's just like, it's literally the ideal place for space nerds. And like Sophie said, I really found my group too. And the people that I met at space camp are still some of my best friends. And it's just such an amazing experience for all space nerds alike.
I definitely agree with that. And I do remember Pathfinder. They have, like Zara said, this huge model rocket. I mean, like, it doesn't look big. If you look it up on Google and you see the pictures, you have to see it with your own eyes. It's breathtaking. And so that's leading us to near the end. We're going to talk about some of our experiences and like research internships. So as you can see, this is one of my first Higher Orbits events, and I'm revving their clothes today. But this was a really stellar experience that I had. And my team and I actually designed a mission that will be going to the ISS to create art in space in microgravity. And to the right, these were 2 different events. One of them was art themed, the other one was science themed. So I'm getting the best of both worlds. And we created one on tardigrades. And if you don't know what tardigrades are, they're these really tiny extremophiles. You can't see them with a normal microscope. You have to see them with a special microscope. And basically, extremophiles can withstand extreme pressure, heat, no food, no water. And they actually have a theory that they're the first inhabitants of the moon. And so that was what our project on, our science project was on that one as well. And I know yesterday Zara talked about how the medical field can help you be an aspiring astronaut. And so we had something in common. I had a really great experience to attend this camp called CSI Camp, Career Scene Investigation. And it was at our local hospital. And basically what we did there was shadowed in for people that work at the hospital, the surgeons, the nurses, radiologists. The pictures that you see here, I believe we were in the blood lab. And one of the coolest things we got to do there, we took a blood sample from one of the patients to see if she was pregnant or not. And so the reason why I not only did engineering opportunities, but also medical opportunities is because as an astronaut, you can't just be good at one thing. You want to be good at really one thing, but you also want to be a jack of all trades. And if you don't know what that means you want to be good at as many things as you possibly can, because in space, if you think about it, if you get hurt somehow, there's not a hospital in space yet, but there's no hospital on the ISS. So you need to be able to care for yourself and be able to do as many jobs as you can. And being a jack of all trades, it can really help you get up when you're applying to be an astronaut and makes your resume look better.
Right, so there's some other things that you guys can do at school, not only outside of school with the scuba diving and the flight training, but in school to really expose yourself to a variety of things and to get your name out there. As an aspiring astronaut, it's also important to build your name, to build your personal brand, and to really be recognized for your achievements, because that's where all the opportunities and all of the research and internship opportunities come from. So on the left-hand picture, that's a picture of me with my friend Daniel. We had won the first place and tied, and then we switched to second place in Miami in the entire county for mathematics. So that was a really awesome experience last year, and I was team captain. And then also that's another picture of me next to Harvard Medical School. That's I was just visiting. I'm not there yet. Hopefully one day, but it's good to build your dreams at a young age and to work for them. And then on the right-hand side, this is a picture of me. We had won first place in Miami-Dade County again for a business competition. And like Sophie said, you really want to experience different things. And at this age, it's the golden age for you guys. You guys have an incredible, a world of time to explore different subjects, different areas, and just find your passions in different things and to build on to that in the future. So for me, I was just experimenting a little bit with business, and I found a little passion for that, and I really loved that experience. So I really like to combine different things. So medicine, mathematics, business, entrepreneurship, and all of that. And so another major skill that I wanted to talk about is leadership. So I said in the last slide, I was the team captain for my school for the math competition. And I'm also president of 3 organizations at my school. And what's so important about, these experiences as president, as secretary, and all of these different positions is that you learn leadership. And as you guys grow older and you start doing internships, you start going to those programs like Sophie was talking about with her medical program at her hospital, you really need to take a lead and start standing out. And especially in the workforce as well, when you go to college and you start getting jobs, you really need to stand out and to show that you can take on any challenge, any opportunities, and you can, really show your skills. And leadership is one of those important skills that you need as an astronaut as well. So all of the astronauts are leaders in their country, are leaders in whatever they work in and whatever they major in. And, my experience with leadership has really taught me honesty towards the rest of my team. And it's shown me respect to everyone on my team as well. Because although you're president, although you're the head of the group, everyone plays a huge role, and you all need to work together to, to achieve all of the goals that you're striving for as a board. And so I've learned that as president, I'm not only president of the school, but I'm the president of all the students. And I'm there to answer all their questions, all of their concerns, and to cooperate with everyone. So that's a really important skill that you guys should learn at this age, and maybe older, maybe in middle school when you start having clubs. Running for, secretary, for president of those clubs are really great. And those are some experiences that you can also add on your resume. And those credentials that you have can get you more opportunities out there for internship opportunities and research opportunities. So I mentioned a lot of times about research and internships, and those are some great experiences that you get once you're older, and you start going in high school and in college and university. So on the right hand of the screen, you could see me taking a side picture, and that's me while I was performing a simple interrupted suture. And if you guys joined my call yesterday, I talk a little bit more about my research. And so within the past year, I've been doing a lot of research in space medicine to build up my experience, and it revolves around 3D printing surgical tools to be used in space. So I'm not going to go too much into it, but when we go on missions to Mars, we're going to have to do surgeries because it's such a hostile environment. And, there's so many threats on the mission that, can really threaten the astronauts' lives. So knowing how to do a surgery in space and having that technology to be able to do so is crucial for us. And so I'm doing a little bit of research to help advance our understanding of how different performing surgeries on Earth are compared to doing them in weightlessness. And after I finalize all of the projects on Earth on gravity. So right now I'm in that picture, I was doing some sutures using regular metal tools, I'm going to 3D print those tools and test them underwater. And that's where my scuba diving license is going to come in handy. And I'm going to publish some research on that. And I really hope to be one of the people to witness the first surgery on Mars. That would be such a cool thing.
So I had a few more pictures on here, but it looks like it didn't make it into the presentation. But one of the last things I wanted to talk about that's really helping me get into space and to get into this industry is I'm a NASA Virginia Space Coast Scholar. And basically what that means is I've been working with some of the people that work at NASA Langley to get my foot into the door and to learn about all of that. And so one of the really cool things that we've been doing there is doing mission design. And so I've been designing a mission alongside these people and designing a mission patch and learning about all of NASA's history and what I can do to help get into the industry. And so with all of that, I think that wraps up our presentation. If you guys have any questions for us, we'd be glad to answer them.
But if you go into space and you do a surgery there, then blood will be bubbles, and then how do you get them back in the body?
Right, exactly. There's so many questions about how we would perform those surgeries. So, you know, it's still a big question as to how we would be doing that. There are some technologies that they're testing out right now, like forming little pouches inside the body to keep all the organs and the blood inside and to not prevent them from leaking out. But right now it's still a mystery for us, and we're still working on that. And I think we have like 10, 15 years left to continue developing those technologies. So I don't know, maybe in the next decade, we might find the answer to that and how we're going to prevent all the blood and all the organs from coming out of the body once in space.
Next question, Kevin, didn't you want to ask a question? You raised your hand. Kevin, can't hear you. Anyone else? Ansel, Liana, any questions? Titan, what is your most exciting experience after all of them? Titan ask, Sophie, out of all the things that you did or do and doing, what's your most exciting experience?
I'd say, of course, as of right now, it has been space camp, but I think that helicopter lesson is a close second. There were a few times when I was on there where I was like scared for my life. It's a lot, like I'd compare it to almost like flying a rocket because you have to move it in pulses. You can't just go all the way over here and then go all the way over here because the helicopter is gonna tumble down to the ground. So I'd probably say, other than space camp, of course, definitely my helicopter lesson.
Okay, what about you, Zara?
Oh, I loved all of the experiences that I've had related to space, but I think besides space camp, of course, like Sophie, I think scuba diving was those great experiences. And actually there's the first time I went scuba diving, I was 13. The first time that we actually did a dive, we did like a 35-foot dive in one of the reefs. It was called Rainbow Reef. And that was probably the craziest experience of my life. I remember when we were swimming, there's like a black fish called, I forgot the name, but it was called a it starts with an N. But that fish, like my foot like nudged it when we were swimming because I was a crazy diver. I couldn't like stay balanced. I was wobbling all over the place and I was bumping into coral, so that wasn't good. But I nudged the fish, like I touched it with my foot and it actually bit me. It was a little pinch, but it was kind of funny. And I was freaking out after that when we were on board because there was like a little rash after that. And then when we were resurfacing, my the respirator that you put in your mouth, it's called the BCD. It came out of my mouth and I was like freaking out. I was like, oh my God, I was gonna die because it like I had no more oxygen. So I had to like remember like all the things that we learned back in practice, and I had to put my hand behind my back and get the mask again and put it on my mouth. And that was like a crazy experience. But that was the first experience I got in scuba diving. And, you know, throughout all the years, the past 2 years that I've continued doing dives is just amazing. It's a really wonderful experience that your peers and your classmates don't really experience. You know, not many people do this. So that's one of the most eye-catching moments of my life. And it's a truly wonderful, amazing experience.
Okay, so first of all, we really want to host the underwater diving experience in Bali because not many people know, but Indonesia is one of the most biodiverse country in the world, whereby our underwater life is amazing. We have the most beautiful coral reefs because we have 17,000 islands throughout the archipelago. I'm a diver myself. I'm an advanced diver, PADI, licensed. I've been diving since 2011, and I've dived in quite a few amazing places in Indonesia, near-death experiences as well, you know. But it's someday when travel is all safe again, and yeah, we'll be hosting the underwater diving experience for aspiring astronauts. You can do the beginners. We have a lot of shipwrecks here, and we have walls, and we have beautiful coral reefs in Bali. If you want to go more advanced, you go to Eastern Indonesia, where the current is very, very challenging, in Komodo, in Flores, where there's just like manta rays and very, very beautiful corals. So I think Titan asked, why do you like scuba diving? But I think maybe you can also explain why majority of astronauts need to learn how to dive.
Yeah, so in the beginning, I talked a little bit about the neutral buoyancy laboratory and how astronauts get a lot of experience before they go into space, being in weightlessness and training in those big EVA spacesuits in weightlessness. But so when I first started off scuba diving, I was just going there just for that experience and just to get that experience on my resume as an aspiring astronaut. However, like I said, that first time I went diving, it was such a hectic, amazing, out of this world experience. So after that, I not only started going there just to get experience as an aspiring astronaut, but just because I just loved it so much. And now scuba diving has become one of my biggest passions, and I really love going there. I try going once every 1 or 2 months because it's something so amazing and so mind-boggling. So it's just been, I usually just go scuba diving now because it's so amazing, and it's because I live in Miami, so you know, it's just a couple of miles away.
Yeah, lucky you. What about you, Sophie?
I missed the question. Could you please repeat it?
No, I mean, like, have you you dive, right? Do you dive too, or are you purely aviation?
I haven't really dived. I go more snorkeling, but was the question like why do I like snorkeling or like diving?
Well, if you have a diving experience, but since you don't, Kevin, you can leave if you want. Thank you for joining. Okay, Sadie asked, what is your biggest challenge? What's your biggest challenge, Sophie?
I'd say as of right now, my biggest challenge in like any of these things that I've been to has probably been being a girl and feeling like I need to prove myself that I'm there, or being singled out because I'm the only girl there. And so I'd say it's definitely gotten better, but that's probably been my biggest challenge. And I can definitely say that it's changing, and I'm pretty sure soon that that won't be a challenge anymore, especially for this next generation, which is so exciting.
Why do you think that being a girl is a challenge?
I mean, it really shouldn't be, but I just feel like that's how we've always assumed that it is, and we kind of just went with it. So it's really great that we're having gender equality now, and we're fighting for that.
Okay. Zara, do you have anything to add to that?
I 100% agree with Sophie that being a girl is definitely in STEM. A girl in STEM is super challenging, and it's a different whole nother experience in itself. But I think for me, aside from just being a girl, I think just being young is a huge challenge for me. Through my different experiences, through the flight training, through my ground school, and through my scuba diving, I've always been the youngest person. So on my robotics team, I was the youngest. In the all of the flights, the ground school that I do, I'm the youngest person on that with the Sporties Learn to Fly course. And in my scuba diving, every time that I go on the boat, it's really funny. I'm always the youngest one. I'm usually with 30, 35-year-olds. And what's different about that is that people don't take you seriously as a young person. And so it's definitely very discouraging, very demotivating. But through time, you just have to persevere and to stick to it. And then, those comments from other people don't affect you anymore. And people start to realize that, you're 100% going for it. And, you really deserve what you're doing right now as a young person. And I think Sophie can attest to that as well.
And I can certainly attest to that as well. I'm 37 now. I started my career when I was 15 years old, just like Zara. I started when I was 15 from my journalism, and I was always the youngest. And as I grow older, in every internships, in every employment, I was always the youngest in the room. I was always the only girl and the only female. I was always working with engineers and architects in their 50s and in their 60s. And it was always very challenging to always be the only female on the table, signing, very, very important agreements, assisting all of these deals. But and dealing with difficult colleagues, of course, which has a big ego, right? We have to massage their ego. But in the end of the day, I will also not be where I am if it's not because of the support of the men that gave me the opportunity and actually be my mentor. So as much as I don't really work with female colleagues as much, I also respect and appreciate my male superiors that actually, gave me the opportunity, recruited me, educated me, and taught me so many things about management, operations. So, and then when in fact, sometimes actually female colleagues are the one that's actually stopping you from growing, because they're jealous of you, because they are just not supportive, So it goes likewise, like right now, women supporting women, girls support girls, but at the same time, girls can be evil to each other as well. So, so in the end of the day, it's either male or female in terms of gender equality, but, in the end, it's the same. At least I'm speaking from my experience.
I agree, Anne. I think that sisterhood is so important. And of course, there's some women that, they compete with each other in all aspects, but having that sisterhood and having those females in your life that support you is so important. And I just wanted to say, I'm so grateful for the sisterhood that I've had with Anne and with Sophie. You guys are amazing space sisters. And, I just love seeing all of your accomplishments, both of you guys. And I know that we're all going to be, and Anne herself, she's amazingly successful right now, and Sophie as well. But I know we're all going to surmount to all of our dreams in the future because we support each other.
Yes,
Yes, right back at you.
That's very important, and sometimes, of course, age matters, but actually it's not, because and then especially us being girls, it's always you have to support the younger ones, right? And as much as the younger ones should look up or learn from the older ones, but in the end of the day, we are all learning and supporting from each other. I think that's the most important thing. And boys, be nice to girls at school. You don't bully them, right? And if you don't understand anything and the girl is smarter than you, it's okay. You can ask her and ask her to teach you things. Don't be shy, that you can learn. You don't always have to be smarter than a girl, but if you're smarter than your girlfriends, you have to help them too. You have to teach them, right? So you both can learn from each other. You can become a better teacher and you can learn also from her. So no bullying at school. You all have to support one another.
Definitely, and I agree. Going with that mentorship is so important, as well as networking, because you can really learn so much from not only young people, but also the people that already have experience in those fields.
Yes, it's very important. And also you ask your teachers and okay, someone's knocking on my door. Sophie, can you take over, Zara?
So yeah, to tell you guys about this, I think for all of you guys, those of you at school and those of you doing sports, surround yourself with those people who are going to support you and those people who are going to love you and support you through everything you do, and not those people that are going to discourage you, that are going to tell you you can't achieve those dreams. Those are not the kind of people that you want in your life. So as you guys grow older and you're going into middle school, into high school, it's important to have a niche of friends that support you throughout all of your aspiration and all of your endeavors.
Yes, and I've also already created the WhatsApp group Aspiring Astronauts, right? So you can join that. I mean, Sophie's not on WhatsApp, but but if you are on WhatsApp, you can join there. And then if you don't have a mobile phone yet, it's okay. There's always Instagram and there's always email. If you need to reach out and ask about space, we're always here for you. Sophie and Zara is very accessible as well. And yeah, that's the kind of support system, because I think if you like something, these days it's so easy. You can just go online, the internet, and study it by yourself, but nothing really beats having friends liking the same thing and studying it together with a group, and especially learning from, in this case, Sophie and Zara, who's actually in US, where the space industry is very advanced and they have firsthand experience that they can share, and the knowledge with you all. So that's why we start this series, and hopefully we will have more in the future. Liana, do you have anything to ask? Do you have anything to say? Nobody? Okay, so what's up with, what's next for you both? Sophie, in the near future, you're writing your technical paper? Anything else? And I mean, like, in this pandemic, is everything going on normally, or what's the exciting project next for you, Zara?
For me, yeah, I'm finishing up that VSCS with my technical paper. This summer, I have a couple of engineering camps that I'm going to be attending. The USAFA, U.S. Air Force Academy Engineering Camp. And I have a few projects that I can't talk about right now, but those are also coming up.
And for me right now, I'm starting up on my second internship of the year with an organization called Superposition, and it's all about STEM. So it's an amazing experience for me, and I'm just continuing my research in medicine. And I've been so excited today. I actually got the news that I was nominated for the Congress of Future Medical Leaders Excellence Award, and that was really amazing. And so that really pushed me to continue working on that. And this summer, I'm going to be doing a paid internship in medicine at a medical firm. And I also got a scholarship a couple of weeks ago to the Advanced Space Academy. So I'm really excited for when I get to go in June.
Oh, wow. Congratulations for all the award and nominations. What's the Advanced Space Academy?
It's space camp, but it's for 15 to 18-year-olds.
Ah, I see. And you're gonna go to the facility, or is it gonna be online?
No, this time it's going to be in person.
Oh, okay. All right. So how long is it gonna be?
Like the normal camps, it's a week long.
Week long. Okay. Wow. Deepa, anything to say? You're being very fidgety. No. So I was told as well that today is the last day to register for Dear Moon, which is a Japanese billionaire project on going to the moon. He's looking for 8 crew members from all over the world. I actually haven't looked at the details, what's the minimum age, but if you want to register, if you want to apply, apparently today is the last day. And then what else? Do follow Space Hero Media on Instagram, and that is the competition that I mentioned. Everybody can apply, but unfortunately the minimum age is 18 years old, so I don't think every one of you can apply to it now, but it will give you motivation to learn and start from now, like Zara and Sophie started very early, because to go to space you need a lot of preparation, you need to study a lot of things, and that takes time, and you need to start now if you really want to go to space someday. Even as a private astronaut, you will need to know some things. What else? I think the time is up. If everybody else does not have any more further questions. Amelia, do you have any questions? No? Okay. So who's this Nina Bobo? Adriana, any more questions? Nina Bobo Nina Bobo has any questions?
No, for no.
No? Okay. And so Deepa, is everyone else here on video? Let's take a picture. Davida, Sadi, Orchida. Let's take a picture and then we'll close the session. Thank you very much for joining. I love seeing you all today. Is that everybody? Is everybody here? Come, see the picture. Hi, Davida. Okay, 1, 2, 3. One more. Titan, where's your drawings?
Bye, I must leave for.
I already kept it in another room.
Okay, one more photo. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Thank you so much, Zara, Sophie. We really, really appreciate your time. Thank you for sharing. I hope we can do this for everybody and more people can join. Davida is my friend from Society of Women's Engineering. She runs the Jakarta chapter. So we also have US chapters. I mean, it originated from the US, of course. So yeah, hopefully we can do something together for with Sui on aerospace engineering and all the STEM stuff. And but for now, have a good evening for Sophie and Zara. And kids, have a good Sunday. You are in Bali, enjoy NYEPI today. And if you're in Jakarta, enjoy Sunday. Adriana, I'll come and see you soon, okay? You and your mom.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Happy NYEPI.
Happy New Year.
Thank you so much for having us.
No problem. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Bye, Sophie.
Bye. Good night. Good night.
Bye, Zara.
Bye, Liana.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye, Titan.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Sadie.